Okay, so today we're we're diving into this world from Baron Trump's marvelous underground journey.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of the happy forgetters?
I have.
It's kind of a wild concept, right?
Yeah.
These people who, like, every day they just wipe their memories clean.
Yeah, they just reset.
Like every day is a brand new day.
It's pretty wild, and I think like the more you think about it, the more disturbing it gets. But Lockwood, the author presents it in a very alluring way, especially at first.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, initially it sounds kind of tempting, right?
Right. I mean, who wouldn't want to just let go of all the baggage?
Yeah, all the, heartache and just kind of like anxieties and all that. Just wake up fresh and it's a new day, start over.
Especially with all the stuff that's going on right now.
Right.
It's like, oh, I could just like forget about yesterday's news cycle and start fresh. But, obviously there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, I mean, how do they even do that? Like, is it some kind of magic or is it technology or like, how do they forget everything every day?
Well, Lockwood kind of dances around the specifics of how it works. I mean, this was written in the 1890s, so he doesn't have this, the language to describe like brain implants or neural networks or anything like that.
Right.
But he describes these elaborate rituals. There are fountains that are said to wash away thoughts, and daily gatherings where people come together and kind of collectively discard the previous day's experiences. It's almost like a communal forgetting ceremony.
So it's like a choice.
Yeah.
It's not like something that's being forced upon them.
It seems to be like a societal ritual that's just so ingrained in their culture that it's just what they do. They don't even have things like hospitals or therapists. The concepts of illness or sadness are totally foreign to them.
That's so weird. Okay, I see what you mean about it getting a little disturbing, right? Because I was going to say it sounds kind of utopian.
Yeah.
Like everyone's just happy.
Right, on the surface, yeah. I mean, Lockwood describes them as like serene, dressed in like these bright, flowing clothes. Their surroundings are like lush and colorful. But yeah, the more you delve into it, the more the sort of like artificiality to it kind of starts to creep in.
It's giving Stepford wives.
Yes, exactly. It's that kind of like forced happiness, that curated bliss. And, this is where Baron Trump's experience with them becomes so fascinating because he comes into this world. And at first, he's totally taken by it. He's like, wow, these people are so carefree. They have no worries. But then he tries to talk to one of them about, something that had happened the day before. And the happy forgetter, of course, has no memory of it.
Oh, so they really like fully forget everything. They're not even faking it or anything.
Yeah, it's like a complete reset.
Yeah.
And Lockwood actually has this like amazing line. I don't know if I can remember it exactly. It's something like, why dwell upon it, young stranger? Such trifles are but weighty stones in the heart. To forget is to be light, to be free. Cast it away as we do, and find joy that lasts only as long as the day.
Whoa. Okay, that's deep. So, I mean, they're clearly aware that they're forgetting things.
They're choosing to.
It's not like they're just, I don't know, clueless or something.
Exactly. They're making a conscious decision to prioritize this fleeting happiness over the burden of memory and experience. And that's, I think, where Lockwood starts to get at something really interesting about human nature. It's like, are we so afraid of pain, of discomfort, that we would willingly choose to erase parts of ourselves just to achieve this superficial sense of bliss?
It makes you think about, like, what's happening today.
Oh, absolutely.
Like with social media and the internet, it's so easy to just curate what you see and like unfollow people you don't agree with. And it's like we're all kind of creating these echo chambers where we only see what we want to see and we filter out anything that might make us uncomfortable or challenge our views.
I think Lockwood was really ahead of his time in a way. He was writing this in the 1890s, but it feels so relevant to the way we live now. The way we consume information, the way we try to control our own narratives.
I'm starting to think these happy forgetters aren't so fictional after all.
Right. They're like a reflection of this very human impulse to avoid discomfort, to choose the easy path, even if it means sacrificing something essential about ourselves. And what Lockwood is trying to show us, I think, is that there's a real cost to that kind of selective ignorance.
Okay, so what's the cost? Like, what are we actually missing out on when we choose to forget or to just like turn away from the harder parts of life?
Well, I mean, think about it. How can you truly connect with someone if you're not willing to acknowledge their pain, their struggles? How can you understand the world around you if you're constantly filtering out anything that doesn't fit into your neat little bubble?
It's like you're living in this fake world.
Yeah, it's a very surface level existence, right?
Yeah.
And you might be happy, but it's a very fragile kind of happiness. It's a happiness that's built on denial and avoidance, and it can't really withstand the inevitable challenges that life throws our way.
It's like you're saying that true happiness, or like real fulfillment, comes from embracing the whole spectrum of experience.
I think so. Lockwood seems to be arguing that it's in those difficult moments, those moments of pain and loss and heartbreak, that we actually grow the most. We develop resilience, we learn empathy, we build the capacity for deeper, more meaningful connection.
It makes me think of that quote, like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right. There's a lot of truth to that. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, there are some things that can break us, but I think overall, we are capable of enduring and even thriving in the face of adversity. And it's in those moments where we're forced to confront our own limitations, our own vulnerabilities, that we discover our true strength.
It's like you need the darkness to appreciate the light. You need the contrast.
Exactly. And I think that's what Lockwood is getting at with the happy forgetters. They're living in this perpetual state of artificial light, and as a result, they never really get to experience the full depth and richness of what it means to be human.
So what do we do with this? I mean, we all want to be happy, right? But we also don't want to just live in this like fake, shallow existence. Like, how do we find that balance between remembering and forgetting, between embracing the good and acknowledging the bad?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I don't know that there's an easy answer. I think it's something we have to figure out individually and collectively. But I do think that being aware of this tendency we have to avoid discomfort, to curate our experiences, is a good first step.
Yeah, like recognizing when we're doing it.
Right. And then asking ourselves, why am I doing this? What am I afraid of? And is this really serving me in the long run?
It's almost like you have to actively choose to remember, choose to engage with the hard stuff, even when it's uncomfortable.
I think so. It's not easy, but I think that's where the real growth happens. That's where we develop compassion and resilience and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
It's definitely a lot to think about. I think this is one of those deep dives that's going to stay with me for a while.
Me too.
I might even start looking at those perfectly curated social media feeds a little differently now. Food for thought, for sure.
Yeah, maybe we could all benefit from a little less forgetting and a little more remembering.
Thanks for guiding us through this one.
Oh, of course.
It's been a good one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like the happy forgetters. It's weird.
It is weird, but it's like relevant.
It's relevant.
It's like unsettling, but in a good way.
I think Lockwood would like that we're still talking about this,
Yeah.
Like over 100 years later.
Yeah.
He's probably up there somewhere, like on a cloud, like, yes.
Yes.
Still relevant.
My work is not forgotten.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we'll see everybody on the next deep dive.
Sounds good.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.